everyone and welcome to a very special video announcement. I would have loved to pop open some champagne right now, but it is currently morning, so that would be a bit inappropriate, I would think. But regardless, as I'm filming this, my second book, Garden of Silver, is officially being uploaded to catalogues of online bookstores. This is the second installment of the Leaves of Holly trilogy, the first of which was published in 2021, and today just so happens to be its second book birthday. I timed that pretty well, if I may say so myself. For those of you who do not know about it, I will be doing a brief introduction before moving on to talk about my experience during the publishing process. Introducing Leaves of Holly. The trilogy centers around Ivy, a young woman who is magically transported to another world, where she's put to work as a kitchen maid in a nobleman's castle. This world, however, has angered its goddess and is now plagued by famine and unrest. As Ivy is learning to navigate her new home, she comes to play a significant part in solving the mystery around the famine, and starts the quest of regaining the goddess's blessing. It is a young adult fantasy and an epic adventure that takes the protagonist all over the map. It has tropes like nature magic, crystals, nobility politics, first love, and lots of interesting environments like imposing castles and deep and sinister forests. Book 2, Garden of Silver, continues right where Leaves of Holly left off, but it delves a little deeper on the romance side, making it more of a romantasy, as we say. But it is nonetheless an equally epic adventure which raises the stakes in many ways. I can't wait to see what people think of it, but I'm also a little nervous as there are some things that happen in there that people might not expect. Leaves of Holly is available as paperback and ebook, and you can actually read the first 3 chapters for free on Amazon if you click the cover to look inside. Garden of Silver will be available in both formats as well, but more on that later. Now that I've done some shameless self-promotion, let's move on. The publishing process. So I was foolish enough to think that the second time around would be much easier. And I was in for a rude awakening. So for Leaves of Holly, I hired professionals for every single step of the way, meaning editors, a formatter, and a cover designer. This time I decided to do the formatting myself. So I bought Atticus, which is a one-time purchase formatting tool that gives you so many options, and it was quite easy to learn as well. I would highly recommend it actually. And it cost me about half of what I paid to have Leaves of Holly formatted, and this one can be used for many future books. So definitely a good purchase. However, when taking on a task like this, you have to allow yourself more time to finish it. It's easy to just send over your file and then have them work on that while you're busy working on something else. And I guess I was a bit too optimistic in how quickly I would be able to finish my print file. On top of that, I was also a bit late in booking my cover designer. I, of course, wanted to use the same designer as I had for book 1, but I didn't contact her until about 6 months prior to release. So then I had to adapt to her availability, which is not a great situation. As a result, the cover wasn't done until about 2 weeks before the release. Very stressful, to say the least. So yes, a very important lesson that I've learned is to have everything finished, the cover file and print file uploaded and ready at least a couple of months prior to release. It wasn't all bad though. I was on schedule quite decently with my beta readers and editor, as well as the proofread. So I cannot be too hard on myself. I've also been a bit more diligent with my marketing in the last few months. I've been more active on social media and I've made connections with some reviewers. So I do give myself credit where credit is due. But we are all human, we are all a work in progress, and hopefully I will remember some of these insights when it's time to release book 3. One thing that I've been focusing on a lot as well is making concept art for my books, which was so much fun. It is a time-consuming task, but it is so rewarding. I did make a few pieces before the book 1 release, but the last 6 to 9 months alone, I've made like twice as many pieces. It has been anything from maps to landscapes to architectural elements, and I have a long list of things that I'd still like to make. I usually just draw with black fine liners, but this time I also dabbled a bit in watercolors, which I very much enjoyed. I'm still a beginner with that, however, but I'm looking forward to exploring that some more. I might be getting ahead of myself a little bit now, but I did actually buy a scanner with the hopes of using my artwork more for upcoming projects, such as maybe having a future hardback edition with some nice illustrations in it. Who knows? Regardless of what plans I may or may not be able to do with this, I do plan on making more art in time for the book 3 release. And speaking of, what's next? I will of course be throwing myself into writing book 3, which I aim to publish in spring of 2025. I already have a rough outline ready, but I've been slowly tinkering with that over the last 2 years or so we'll see how much I still agree with my initial plan. That's the interesting part about leaving your writing be for a while and then get back into it. It's surprising how much you end up changing just because you've spent some time away from it. You gain a different sort of perspective. Another project that I've taken upon myself is to record some narration for the first few chapters of Leaves of Holly. My original plan was to upload these in time for the Garden of Silver release, but I ended up changing that. I just went into it with the wrong expectations. I was a perfectionist and I recorded for hours until my voice got cracked pretty much, and I don't even know for how many days I did this. I ended up with so much material to go through and edit, trying to find the perfect take for every sentence. And it was just not realistic. The one chapter that I've managed to finish editing is it's difficult to listen to. Instead of being me reading aloud in a relaxed manner, it's just a collection of crisp and clear sentences that have been sort of Frankensteined together to form a chapter. I cannot see past that. I hear it so clearly, so naturally I fear that anyone else listening to it will hear that as well. And aside from that, the process of recording and editing all of those huge raw recordings was just horribly tedious. I became stressed and irritable, and so I decided to put that project on the shelf for now. I will still do it, but I will need to do something about my perfectionist brain before I sit down to record that again. Just get over that initial shock of it so that I can just be relaxed and narrate the chapters in a way that feels authentic and natural to me, rather than to try and meet some kind of audiobook standard. Because, newsflash, I am not a voice actor. So that is still in the pipeline, and I am looking forward to sharing that once it's done. So, where can you find my books? They are of course available on Amazon, regardless of your country. Aside from that, you also have Google Books, Barnes & Noble, Waterstones and Kobo, etc., etc. And I've also seen it available in several international online bookstores as well. One pesky little detail, however, is that it will take about 2 weeks for the Garden of Silver ebook to come out. My publisher has this procedure that they don't start processing the ebook until the physical copy has already been released. Presumably because they want to sell more physical copies in the first weeks of release. A slight annoyance for sure. I will of course notify as soon as the ebook is available. But a good way to stay up to date is to follow my author page on Amazon. You'll find the follow button right in the About the Author section, and you'll get an email as soon as I release something new. Should you decide to read any or both of my books, first of all, thank you. You are amazing. I would deeply appreciate it if you would leave a short review on Amazon and Goodreads. As the saying goes, if you buy the book, you've helped the author today. If you review the book, you've helped the author for all the days to come. Reviews are the number one thing that helps a book reach more readers. So yeah, let's not make this too long-winded. If you're interested in following my progress as I go into book 3, make more artwork, things like that, I will be posting all of this on my Instagram. And now I feel like I could go to bed and sleep for about 2 months. But alas, there are things to do. Thank you all so much for watching. I am so grateful to all of you, and if you would give me a thumbs up and a comment down below, I would appreciate you even more. Thank you again everyone, and I hope to see you back for my next book review video.